It was the second to last week of UA. You had a very small piece of paper in your palm. You liked Tamaki for a while, but you never had the courage to tell him face to face. Once you entered your classroom, you spotted Mirio and Nijiri talking to one another, nervously walking up to them with a question in mind. How do you tell someone who is very shy that you liked them? Mirio answered first.
You could just go up to them and tell them.
Nijiri offered a different answer.
You can give them a box of chocolates or a teddy bear saying, "I like you."
Both of the answers were not what you wanted to hear.
Thanks anyway.
You made your way towards your desk, walking past Tamaki's desk as well, since you sat behind him. You blushed a little by the thought of what he might say if you told him, staring at his empty desk. Once Tamaki arrived into the classroom, you started to tremble. Just a little. You calmed yourself by breathing in and out, counting up to 10 in your mind. When you finally spotted Tamaki sitting down at his desk in front of you, you hesitantly tapped his ear to grab his attention. He turned around nervously himself, a little high-pitched, quiet squeak escaping his mouth before you gave him the small note in your hands. Tamaki looked at you, confused and a bit apprehensive. He turned around facing his desk, snatching the note from your hands as quickly as possible. Once he opened the note, he hesitated only for a second, ready to read what the first 3 words were.
"I like you."
He blushed a deep red, covering his face with his hands, before he was able to calm himself down. He took a pen and wrote on the other side of this paper you had gave him, turning around and giving it back to you without looking you in the eye. Slowly you took the note from his hand, opening it and reading the words he had scrawled onto the back of it.
I like you too.
Heat suddenly bloomed from your cheeks, you yourself covering your face as well from the response, before the homeroom teacher entered into the room. You headed straight towards the lunchroom as soon as class was over, before you felt a hand tap your shoulder. Turning around, you found it was Tamaki, whose eyes gazed towards the floor more so than you, with his shoulders hunched.
I was going to tell you that I liked you from the very start. I was just too afraid to tell you how I felt. So I kept it to myself.
I liked you for a long time too. I was just as scared to tell you as well.
Glancing towards you, Tamaki still held a blush on his cheeks before he could respond. You gave him a quick peck on the cheek. Tamaki couldn't hold the blush any further as he trembled in the spot before you heard the sound of a phone camera go off. The both of you, surprised, turned to find both Mirio and Nijiri with their phones out, taking pictures and laughing quietly to themselves. Tamaki was the first to find the nearest wall to place his forehead on, while you yourself, unsure what to do, held your face in your hands, trying to hide the blush that seemed to deepen on your face. Despite the fun gesture both Mirio and Nijiri were enjoying themselves in, Tamaki broke the silence.
Maybe we should go to lunch.
With a unanimous vote agreeing to the suggestion, all 4 of you walked towards the cafeteria before you felt something grab onto your hand. You turned to find Tamaki held it in his, while he blushed, still his eyes looking away from you. You reciprocated with a slight squeeze of your fingers along his. before you kissed the back of his hand, quietly and discreetly as best as possible. You noticed a small smile on Tamaki's face before he too secretly kissed yours back.